What am I doing, you guys? For this month's genre vlog, I may have picked a book that is too long for both my mood and my busy schedule. This month's genre is climate fiction, and I've picked The Overstory by Richard Powers. It's 500 pages, which, and it's not terrible, but it's also that I have the urge to read like everything else, and I do have a lot on my plate this month, and yeah, but we're gonna try. This book explores the essential conflict on this planet, the one taking place between humans and non-humans. This is a book about the world that lives alongside of us and a handful of people who learn to see that world. Climate fiction could be divided into two categories, I would say. One is the effects of climate change, and the other one is humans' relationship with nature. It's stories where climate change and the relationship with the natural world play a central role. Of course, both these categories can exist at once. It's not black and white. But I feel like with this book, it's more to do with the second one, the relationship with the natural world, and in this case, trees. I have actually started this just a little bit already. I was away over the weekend and picked this up at the library on my way there. And it just felt right starting this as I was leaving the city behind and being a little closer to nature over the weekend. I'm not really a city person at heart. I grew up in the countryside and tend to miss that a lot. So it was quite nice to connect the two experiences. And yeah, let's continue on. Okay, so I have some thoughts on this book because I'm not really feeling myself getting pulled in. There was one short story that I really liked where they were taking a picture of a tree generation after generation, and it was something very moving about that one. But then you move on to the next one and you have to start all over, and I don't know. It's also that climate change and our relationship to nature are such big subjects and important subjects, and I think I also really want to like this book because of that. But since I'm not that connected with the book, I don't feel connected to the subject either, if that makes sense. Just something I've been thinking about. I'm not doing a very good job with this book. It doesn't help that I'm in a big mood reading phase, and this is all I want to read. I reach for this all the time, trying to get some pages in, but then this just takes over. I'm also not that fond of short stories. You can ask yourself why I picked this then, but I mean, the point of this is to branch out and try different things, which I quite like. And it's not that I hate it, and it's not that I think it's boring or, whatever, but it just isn't speaking to my mood at the moment. It also is a bit of a slower read. I sometimes feel like it's like poetry. I read a couple of pages and then I feel that I need to stop and just like it doesn't feel like a book that you binge. But I am going to try and do some reading tonight because I'm at like page 95, and that there are a big chunk left and not that many days until this needs to be done. So I'm gonna try to get some reading in tonight. I'm gonna go mail some packages, maybe buy some snacks, and then read some more tonight. Don't take a shot every time I say read more tonight, because and then I'm gonna try and get a big chunk in tomorrow, and we'll see where we land after that. Well, I only read about 10 pages last night. But I'm going to sit on the balcony for a little while. It's been really hot here, so I'm just gonna try, and it's a little bit cooler now, so I'm just gonna try and sit out there and finish at least this short story, and then, yeah, we'll see. All right, I finished the 6th short story. There are 2 more left, and then we have this little part here. But I've decided on something. It's not easy for me because I generally don't do this, but I've decided to DNF this. There's something about this that I like, and if I felt that I had more time or was in a different place reading it, I might have finished it. But that last little part with the what is it, the trunk, the crown, and seeds, I would have liked to have read those. This is why I don't really like DNFing, because I sometimes read a book that I'm not 100% into, and then I read the ending and I feel like it was worth it anyway, because something about the ending spoke to me. But I'm now a little over 100 pages in, and it's 500 pages, and I keep drifting off while I read. I realized I don't remember that many details about the stories that I've read. In a way, they feel a bit similar as well. And it's hard to talk about how this connects to climate fiction as a genre, because I haven't finished the book. I haven't had the whole arc, of course, but it is really honing in on humanity's connection to nature and trees in this case, of course. And the author is doing it in a really beautiful way. At least I liked it in some of the short stories. The short stories are a whole person's life. And I sometimes felt that the author did it in a kind of a nice way, where we were going back and forth between the past and the future, and the tree connecting it all. And I really liked that. But in some of the short stories, I just felt that it had that rushed feeling, you know. I do want to explore this genre a lot more, because I feel like there's so many different ways of doing this genre, and this was probably just not the book for me. So, and since it's a library book, I am going to return it and DNF it completely. If I had owned this, I might have read a little bit every now and then and eventually finished the book, but I don't think that's going to be the case this time. This is a big thing for me. I mean, I think it took me 6 months to read Moby Dick. I hate that book. But I read it. But so yeah. I'm a little bit sad, because I thought that I was going to connect with this book a lot more. If you've read this, I'm really curious to see what you think, and also hear a little bit more about the ending of the book. So for July's genre vlog, it's going to be Swedish fiction. I had a book in mind, but I've picked a different book, also because it's very short, and I feel like I want to give myself a chance this month. But it's Detaljerna, or The Details, by Ia Genberg. I'm reading the back, how it's described. It feels very Swedish. A woman is in bed with fever, and a handful of people from her past stand in front of her. A celebrity-to-be who wrote a letter, a friend who disappeared off the grid, and a love without a future. And it says that it's 4 portraits and 1,000 details. It just sounds very interesting to me. It sounds very interesting. And I picked Swedish literature because I'm really bad at reading books by Swedish authors. So I also wanted to see if there was an author that people talk about today that I haven't heard of, and that's how I found this one. So I'm excited to check it out and see what I think. And for August, we have science fiction, and I would just love your recommendations for this one. I'm sure you've got a ton. So don't hold out on me. Yeah, I would just love to dive into something new in that area. Okay, so this took a little bit of an unexpected turn for me, but thank you so much for hanging out with me, and hey, I'll see you in the next one.